It's US President Donald Trump who's now taking credit for the Gaza peace deal. There's a White House poster which says President Donald Trump is the peace president. Donald Trump also said, "I developed ties that lead to great things. Hostages will be released by Monday." What we are seeing at the moment, there is a peace deal that has been agreed upon both by Israel and by Hamas. Israel and Hamas have agreed on the Gaza peace deal. Listen into what the US president has said.
You said that you might go to the Middle East on Sunday. Do you mean Egypt and Israel? And would you consider going to Gaza to see what things are on the ground?
I would. I might do that. I may do that. We haven't decided exactly. I'll be going to Egypt most likely. That's where everybody is gathered right now, and we appreciate that very much. But I'll be making the rounds, as the expression goes. I probably will.
John, we have seen how the president has been saying, and this is something which he said even while he was campaigning, that people believe he's the one who will start wars, but he was very, very clear that he's the one who will stop wars. Do you agree?
Well, I think that President Trump wants to, peace at all costs. I think that, that's what he wants in his heart. I think that at the same time, we have to be soberly realistic as to whether or not the parties involved want peace. I think that, the Israeli people are tired of war. I know the Palestinian people are, but, the billion-dollar question is what Hamas will do and whether it will back away from whatever guarantees it's made.
Right, John, we have seen that Israel and Hamas, they have both agreed this is the first phase of the peace plan, the Gaza peace plan. In fact, we are seeing how most of the mediators, especially people from the Middle East, are saying that this is historic, unprecedented. This is actually a step closer to ending the 2-year-old war. But we all should remember what happened 2 years back in October 2023. It was an unprovoked attack that happened. So that's also something which everyone, even the mediators, will be very keenly looking at. Will this be fragile? Will this be permanent? That's the big question at the moment.
Well, if you look at Hamas's doctrine, it believes in something called a hudna, which is a temporary truce. We've had so many temporary truces since 2009 that Hamas has just gone ahead and broken. I think that's part of the reason that Israel has been so dogged in this war in Gaza, trying to break Hamas's back, because, you have a war, then you have ceasefire, then another war, only to be prepared for the next war. So I think that, we have to be cautious here.
Need to be cautious. That's correct. That's exactly, I think, what the world also at the moment, John, is very keenly looking at. Please stay on with me, John. We've got some more news which is coming in from the United States of America. It's the Gaza peace deal that has been signed. Hostages all set to be freed. Families of the hostages are now celebrating in the United States of America. Relief for the distraught family of the hostages. Hamas has agreed to free the hostages, and that will begin in phases, and the first release will happen on Friday. Families of the hostages are now appealing that this war needs to end. Hostage families in Washington, upon receiving the news, it was President Donald Trump who made an announcement with regards to the agreement that they will be bringing all the hostages home.
We urge the families of hostages to come here to Washington, D.C. this week to mark the October 7th attack against our people, when our loved ones were captured by Hamas terrorists. Yesterday, we gathered here in the Sukkah of Hope with the Trump administration. And today, President Trump has done it. He announced just now that our loved ones, the hostages, are coming home. We will not stop fighting until we see the last of the 48 return to their family, those who were murdered in captivity, buried in the land of Israel, those who are still alive, walking through the border and reuniting with us, the families. Thank you, President Trump, for your courage. Thank you, the Trump administration, for doing everything you can to bring them home. Let's do it.
It's me, Bipin Doshi. I'm from Nepal. I'm 23 years old. I came into Israel 25 days ago. I came here for Orne Loan Program. I'm a student. I work in agricultural farm. Cyprus and Lebanon.
John, we have seen how there are celebrations that are taking place. Is the US President Donald Trump inching closer to the Nobel Peace Prize? Because that's something that the administration and the US President himself has been speaking about for quite some time now.
Well, I think you should ask the the Scandinavians whether they want him to have it, because the Nobel Peace Prize is political as much as anything. I mean, they gave Barack Obama the Peace Prize, and he brought about years of war in the Middle East. So I think that Trump is very much disliked in Europe. So I think that remains to be seen.
One of the first points that, if we look at the 20-point plan that has been made, one of the first points is the fact that de-radicalization of Gaza, that's something which is a must. So that's something which will take time. We should not be expecting, a magic wand of sorts that we will see in the next 24 or 48 hours, de-radicalization to happen. That's something which takes years to happen.
Well, I think that we can start with taking an axe to the educational curriculum that the UNWRA that provides the schools in Gaza has, that's bitterly anti-Semitic, bitterly irredentist, demanding all of the former British Mandate of Palestine is Palestinian territory. And calling for violence. I mean, that will take years. I mean, you have generations that have been inculcated in the sort of radicalism that's resulted in these wars. I mean, we could have had peace 20 years ago, and instead we've had nothing but violence.
Right, John, where do you think things will move from here on in the entire Middle East? Because, we have seen how turbulent it has been. All the mediators, they all sat on one table. US President Donald Trump also had been pushing for it. Do you think this will also have an impact on the other war that we are seeing taking place between Russia and Ukraine?
Well, I think that you're dealing with two different things, because you're dealing with personalities. I mean, Vladimir Putin has been dogged in holding on to his territory in Ukraine, which is why President Trump has been so vehement about giving Vladimir Zelensky the ability to strike deep into Russia, to pressure him. I mean, the one thing that people forget is that if Putin were to back out suddenly from Ukraine and admit defeat, it would mean the end of his regime. I mean, that's the lesson that he learned from Gorbachev, who withdrew from Afghanistan, and only to see his government collapse 2 years later.
Right. Thank you for joining me. John Rosamando joining us, who's a security analyst, joined us from Washington, D.C. The world now is looking very keenly at the peace deal that has been signed between Hamas and Israel. News that's coming in at the moment is the U.S. State Secretary Rubio, who's alerting Donald Trump on the peace deal. Rubio whispered about the peace news. Donald Trump announced the peace deal live while he was briefing. Israel and Hamas, both of them have agreed for phase 1 of the peace deal.
Criminal conspiracy.
Okay. I'm just given. I was just given a note by the Secretary of State saying that we're very close to a deal in the Middle East, and they're going to need me pretty quickly. So I will take a couple of more questions.
Criminal conspiracy.
Okay. I'm just given. I was just given a note by the Secretary of State saying that we're very close to a deal in the Middle East, and they're going to need me pretty quickly. So I will take a couple of more questions.